see my PowerPoint? I lost her.
Putting my earplugs in so you didn't get any feedback.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I can. So I'll just see if I can maximize that. Hold on.
No, yeah, and I'll put it into slideshow.
There we go. Oh, that's better. Not that you're not nice to look at. You're lovely to look at, but I was trying to imagine these places you were talking about.
I know, and then Jason was just like, "Oh, just restart everything." I'm like, "Ah." So, where are we? So this is when I was talking about the difference between the land caves, right? When you go in and have the clear look and the beautiful environment, the traditional more the cenotes that we're familiar with, they're just more fascinating. And then these are more of the ocean blue holes. And some entrances can be big, some entrances can be small. This is specifically is chimney. So it's about 4 meters in diameters and about 12 meters deep. And it goes just down like a shaft. That's the reason why it's called chimney. And then what I was showed was the connection between the ocean blue holes and the mangroves and the fish. And I was just showing the little picture of the shark that was swimming around my ankles. That's when I was saying, you know, I was just getting ready to go cave diving in an ocean blue hole, but there was like baby sharks swimming around my ankle. And I just made this huge connection between is so important to really protect them all, not just protect the sharks, which are protected in Bahamas. We need to protect where they breed, where they go breed, reproducing, where they go, their food is. And then this is, I was talking about, this is Ben's Cave, maybe the most known on the island, with the freshwater lens on the top, on the clear water. So very important, not only to protect the caves because they're connected to the mangroves and the fish life, but also because of the freshwater lens that sits on top of the saltwater lens. And this is the picture that really shows the demarcation line. So the white tips all the way to the ceiling of the decorations sit in the freshwater, which as it's cleaner has less growth in it. And then anything that is marked in the brown sediment actually sits in the salt water. It has a little bit of fluctuation during the tides, but not enough to change the demarcation line. So it's actually pretty visual as we swim through a cave to see where the halocline is in certain areas, because it really goes from a white area to a dark area. And this is what happens. This is right after Dorian. So usually when you go through the halocline, there's a blurred vision. But as you can see from the previous pictures, everything is nice, clear, and pristine. But Dorian came with over 30 feet, 10 meters of ocean over the island, and then went through the water table and through the cave entrances. And you can see like the haziness and the turmoil that it created. But like that was me basically swimming through the halocline. Now we disturb it for a little bit, and then it goes back to normal. It doesn't really affect the halocline in itself. But seeing it after Hurricane Dorian, how it has changed is quite impressive, you know, like how much water moves. This is the map that I was talking about in the presentation. These are the different locations. So the yellow stars are known caves that had already been explored and mapped. Could be that someone did it before us or something that we have done, like some of the caves here, these yellow ones, these are our work. This is like down at the park, so this is more like the original explorers' work. The red stars are areas that we found as potential caves, but did not have lead due to collapse or closures or small areas. But and when I say they show that they have possibility of the caves, chances are we found like an entrance, we found speleothemes, a stalactite, a stalagmite. So we found signs that there was something there before. And then the purple ones are the identified entrances that we have yet to explore and to map. And our dream is to put all of this on the map and say, hey, look, this is all we have. You might not be able to access, but there is a depression here. And this we access, and it goes all the way here. So this is what we did with the ocean hole. So this is what I was talking about with cemetery hole. The ocean holes, like I said, they attract a lot of fish life. And then when you go inside, even the cave ceilings is covered in marine life. We even find diademas inside. There are long spines, sea urchins, all sorts of encrusted sponges. And to avoid leaving too much line in there, because the ocean will eat it, we usually lay the line. And then right after me, Kevin comes in with the Nemo machine. And with that, he basically maps the line. The Nemo has been created by Sebastian Kister. He's a French mathematician, lives in Mexico. This tool is, after I've done survey with a traditional method, one of the best things I ever used in a cave in my life. And then you can create a stick map with this software called Arianeslight. So not only now we know where the hole is, which everybody knows, but we also know where the hole goes. And that is helpful for future land developments. If you want to do something on the beach, knowing, well, so that you know it goes here. In what I was trying to say is in the same dive, the same day, coming back. So this is a freshly laid line. It's been down maybe for an hour. Coming back, we already found plastic that has been attached to the line. We also find plastic in caves that's been there for a very long time. And it could be all sorts of plastic, inner tubes, buckets, food wraps. In this case, I was telling the video, you couldn't say the plastic actually is further in that I can reach. I couldn't even reach to pick up that plastic and clean up the cave. So they really, really fast how much this plastic moves. And then this is a poncho that actually belongs to a cruise ship. It has a cruise ship stamp on it. And it was so far away from where cruise ships are, and just like the entire idea of how much plastic travels. And so then I was explaining this is Mermaid Pond into Chimney. I connected this in 2011. And if I can physically swim through it, imagine what plastic and pollutant can do through it. And this is Chimney, the siphon. It siphons twice per day and it springs twice per day. So I alternate siphon, spring with a delay. And obviously everything that swims by that area, including the microplastic in the ocean, all the pieces of plastic pollutants, will be siphoned in. But then the same way, anything that we throw on land that pollutes on land would also be spring out back into the ocean. And here is where we have the mangroves, the fish, the baby sharks. So pollutants travel through these inner systems on the island. So to give you an idea, this is what I was talking about. The orange stuff is the microbial growth that is healthy. This is a healthy cave. You can see from the visibility and from the status of the sediment. And this is the cave underneath Chimney and Mermaid Pond, which is in an area that is developed. It had some bad lead management. So the microbial growth exploded and created this kind of like pollutant situation. So how do we do it? Quite a lot of technology. Invested is a lot of financial investment. Thankfully, I have been having quite a lot of amazing people that have supported. But it's house cameras, video lights, strobes, a rebreather, dry suit, undergarments, all the shebang of cave gear. Most of the caves in the Bahamas, we do side mount, so side mount rebreather. And then I push this camera through every single tunnel in all of these caves. So not only we go and explore, lay the lines, sometimes then I'll go back and carry the camera. That camera has been kilometers and kilometers inside a cave. So quite a lot of work. But what we do with it is I basically take videos. Meanwhile, Kevin does the survey. So we obviously use it for many things. In this case, I'm just taking video, but this is Kevin surveying the line with Nemo. And I'm waiting for him. And then what I will do is go ahead of him and take a video of the line and wait for him to come behind me and survey it. And then when he comes in, I take additional video. So we go in pairs for doing this work. It saves quite a lot of time and quite a lot of effort. So I swim ahead of him and I take the video, and he swims behind me and takes the survey of the line. And then what that does is, I'm going to skip that, is this is a little bit what comes up from it. So he's now taking a little parallax video of me going through the cave. And what I do is I swim every single piece of line, everywhere. And that's how the video I take. So the video is to give an impression to the person who's looking at the video that they're actually swimming through the cave. We want people to feel that they belong there, that they've been there, that is something that they can become familiar with. To this day, we've done over 42,000 feet. There's over 12 kilometers of this kind of work, just the interactive map. We have way more surveyed line. In some places, I can't carry the camera and do the interactive. So the interactive works like this. Somebody's looking at the map. They can pick a station. Any of the yellow ones, we picked it for you. So this circle is now traveling along the screen. And as they travels along the map, which you also know where it is on land, it also shows you exactly where you are in the cave. Obviously, this then has become a really, really cool tool for teaching, not only for conservation. If I'm talking to a student and I say, we're going to reach this T and you need to do this, or we're going to reach this jump and you need to do this. So it obviously added quite a lot of quality into what we can do. And then the other one that I was showing is a 3D mapping, again, done with the camera and with Nemo. We reserve this usually just for big rooms, big caves, just because it's very, very time consuming, quite a lot of effort to do all of that. We have to lay basically lines, at least the way we want to do it, across the room and then on the perimeter of the room, and then we measure up, down, left, right, or left, right, up, down. And then all this data is measured through Nemo, so quite a lot of basically create a grid. And once we've done that, we put it inside a software called Ariane's Line, which gives us the whole giant blue hippo. That's what we call Ben's Cave. But again, gives a visual of the massive room that is underneath someone's feet. Because they see a small entrance, they're like, oh, okay, you know, this is it. This is the cavern. It's like, no, this is the cavern. And it's, you know, it gives you volume and space that the people are able to see. So in mapping, interactive map, 3D map. I'm working right now also on photogrammetry, but that might take a little bit. Like I said, these results will be shared with the BNT, and this was for the expansion of the park. So this is the current park. This is the current 2020 proposed area, and then through discoveries of most of these new caves, all those stars that you saw, we're actually hoping to expand it to include these caves that we know are interconnected. Even if we can't swim between one system and the other, the water is flowing between one system and the other. And so that is the amount of work that we're trying to do, which is quite a lot. I have to thank COVID because I had quite a lot of time. And let's see if I can stop sharing now. Okay, so that was a double presentation. Thanks for some of you actually stayed in for both. And some of you, I think, came in just for the second part. And if you weren't here for the first part, we actually had a technical difficulties. I gave a full presentation without pictures. So if you have any questions, obviously it's trying too hard to kind of like condense everything we're doing. The timelines, the time zones are completely different, right? So the blue holes are tidal dependent. I can't go on the blue hole Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I have to pick when the tidal is now siphoning me in, so sucking me in. I have to make sure that it's not too rough to reach the ocean entrance. I have to make sure there's no lightning storm. So you'll find that we'll work on this cave, and then conditions change, and we're like, okay, let's redirect our attention to this cave, and then conditions change. Some are dictated also by the outside weather. We have some of the cases like Anaconda. Anaconda is a half-kilometer hike, and it's a through, thank you, Chantel, very kind, through swamp and through hard rocks, and it has no shelter. And so, but it has a huge hydrogen sulfide level. So in order for me to go on water, I need to wear a dry suit. So now we're moving 200 pounds of gear through this half-kilometer. So we do it in turns. We go do one load, go back, one load, go back. And so we kind of like decided that it's not a cave to do in the middle of the Bahamian summer. We wait for the winter when the temperatures drops into the mid-20s and the humidity goes down maybe 40-50% rather than 96-98%. Some are oceans, so if we have a rough weather day and a white visibility with the sun steered up, you cannot even find the cave. Currently, we're concentrating on 2 land caves that are a little bit more forgiving. During the summer, I personally tend to stick to caves that actually have the shortest walk. So right now, the shortest walk is about 250 meters, and that is because of the lightning storms. I have an issue with surfacing with lightning storms and have giant rebreather tanks and having to slowly wobble my way back to the truck. So Claudia says, I'm not cave certified, but we always thought it would be amazing to film some cavern caves with our 360 underwater camera. I also have one question. Is explosive microbial growth a hazard for human health? Milka! Thank you, Claudia. Say hello to Milka for me. So the microbial growth itself, no. But the water that we had tested also had a little bit of E. coli in it and some other pollutants. So some of those might be a little bit not really good. So you'll find that we actually dive in full dry suit, no matter which cave we go in. There's an exception with the ocean blue holes in the summertime. We tend to go in a wetsuit just because the water temperature is unapproachable. But most of the other caves, and especially the ones that will present something like that, or hydrogen sulfide or heavy tannic acid, we're in a dry suit, so we limit the exposure to our face and our hands. So we also use rebreathers that helps out with extended bottom times, no need for decompression, not having to sit in the hydrogen sulfide to decompress. So quite a lot of help from that. But yes, the chimney mermaid pond has some potential hazards for humans' health. So I have to be careful when I dive in there, when I come out, how I clean and how I wash. It's not the most pleasant, especially the land part. The ocean part's a little bit better. Does anybody have any questions? By all means, I know I basically gave a double presentation. I didn't realize there was more people that came in. The first presentation, it was like 3 of us, and it was very thorough, but no images. And then the second one, when I had the images, maybe I did not do such a thorough presentation. I was, if you want to see all the exploration work, filming, mapping that we've been doing so far, you can do to the People of the Water. It's POW nonprofit.org. under exploration, you can really see all the cave work is listed by hole. And then there's also all the shark conservation work, which was not part of this. And if you have any questions now, if you want, if you have any questions even on the technology we're using, from Nemo to the rebreathers to why the choice of gear, by all means, feel free to ask. I say if it's Christina's proof, the gear is like really, really strong. Christine says, so we're still using knotted line and a walking compass. Yeah, I used to use the knotted line, and then I used to use the slate with the bubble and the compass. Right now we're using Nemo, so we don't even have to knot the line. Christine, just not having to knot the line, it's a miracle. Nemo calibrates itself. So I'll show you. I'm going to turn it on. I might not be able to show you exactly, but you can see here. It's very intuitive. It's okay. Then you can go into full or basic. That's a different kind of survey. And then it says calibrate compass. And then you can say standard calibration. Unfortunately, to do this, you'll see that it actually says keep stable. So I will have to put it, I usually put it down on a rock, and it keeps stable. And then it tells me alternate sides. And so I rotate it. Like if some of you uses the shear water to calibrate the compass, you do the same thing. You kind of like turn it. It takes a little bit the first time, but once you're comfortable, it's actually, I mean, I've done Ben's Cave. I've done 33,000 feet, 10 kilometers of survey with the slate, the bubble, in an open circuit. There you go. So now it's ready to be used. You have a basic function, which does not allow you to name the sections that you're surveying. And you have a full function that allows you to name the sections that you're surveying. And what it registers is the depth, the direction, and the distance. So right now, when we do a reel, we just put up a regular line. We don't knot it. We haven't knotted line in over a year. And basically does everything. We've done some problems. The hydrogen sulfide is really bad for the depth sensor. So at a certain point, we were using it with the slate. It was still doing distance, and it was still doing direction, so compass, and we just wrote down the depth. But definitely beats the bubble compass, a slate, not a line. It is also more precise because you basically clip it into the line. So you open here, you slide your light in, and then you basically say go. It calibrates, and then you just keep it steady, and you go, and it makes up for the little, if you move a little bit during your survey, the compass calibrates itself into like an average. It shows you where it does the average. When you go back and putting up the map, it says, hey, here you move this way, so I average this way, you move this way, you average this way. But you actually just have a full system like that. What file do I end up with at the end? We put it into Excel sheets. And then what you do is you use a regular GPS and a handheld GPS and put it, there's a software that goes with it. It's called Ariane's Line. And that's the software that you can use with it. And what it does is if you have a good internet, you can pull up your Google Earth. If you don't have Google Internet, you can just put in the coordinates and it draws the map for you, and you can actually see it on land. You saw, I think you saw the one that I was showing you of Ben's Cave. Ben's Cave is a screenshot of Ariane's Line over the Google Earth based on the GPS of the entrance. So it has quite a great applications. It makes the work much, much faster, especially when you come home instead of having to use it, math, a sextant, and all of that. We find it together with the rebreathers, has really been a game changer. When I did Ben's Cave, a regular survey in open circuit, it took me about 2 years. Mine, obviously, I was doing it. I was in a full-time job at the time, so I was doing it on my day off and at night. During COVID, obviously, we had quite a lot of time. I did the same survey of Ben's Cave, plus we added another 5,000 feet of line, and we did that in less than 3 months. I won't tell him. To be honest with you, I am approaching 50, and the little construction compasses with the little, even with the lenses and everything, we're starting to prove a little bit difficult to read. So I can see the difficulties, and that's where I find Nemo. I don't have to use lenses or anything with Nemo. I can still read it completely in the darkness. It's backlit, as you can tell, and it has color coded. Now I can't show you the color coded because if I did it like this, it wouldn't work. But when you run it along the line, it flashes. So when you calibrate it, it says red. When it's ready to go, it goes blue. And when you start running, it goes purple. And if you're making any mistakes, it's going to start flashing. We can do it in horizontal. Let me see if I can show you this. So you clip it into the line. I have to start it flat. I can't start it like this. So if it was something where the line goes vertical, I will have to try, let's say the line does this. I push down the Nemo enough that it's almost flat. And so, oops, basic mode, yes. Go in. And then when I run it, it's not running. It's not running. I tell you, they have to be. It's easier in the cave. Yeah, it has it. There it is. Let me see if we can try again. So right now it took the first reading, and it's blue, and it's good to go. So I'm gonna, there it is. Okay, let's see if it works vertically. But as I'm surveying the line, it's flashing purple. So that means I know, and it goes back and forth. So you have to be careful. You can't go back because it's gonna read the line. So right now it's reading the line. And if it's not work, it's just gonna give me a flash red. So in the darkness of the cave is really, really good because you can be in a really bad visibility, hydrogen sulfide, a lot of stuff falling down. But as long as you see the flashing of the colors, it's almost like a rebreather in a certain way. So it's blue, you see the blue, you can go, you don't have even really to see the numbers. You can see the flashing purple, you stop, it goes red, then it goes green, change position, go on the next one, red again when it calibrates, purple as it goes through. So again, it's very, very good in a cave if you find yourself in limited visibility. All you have to be able to do is to see the flashing. And because it's backlit, you don't even have to worry much about having the light shining on it. You can actually use it just by looking at the screen. Very fond of it, as you can tell. As someone that have done, 10 years of the regular surveys. The name is Nemo, and it goes together with Ariane's line. I'm pretty sure online is you find it under Ariane's line, but you can search for both. It's homemade, so it's actually made, like I said, by Sebastian. He's in Mexico, so those people in Mexico kind of like know it very well. For me, has been absolutely a game changer. Any questions? Any other questions? Christine, does your boyfriend know that you writing is blind as a bat? So I have to give him the damn reel or just get resolved. that are fantasy. Don't get me started. So the other thing that we do that the software, not Nemo itself has, and the software, you remember I said we can do the interactive map, it's done through Ariane's line, through the software. So the overlapping of the video to the stations is done through the software of Ariane's line. And you can take the video through the stations, put it in. It takes that one, a little bit extra work to understand how to patch it up and how to match it. But again, it's done through that. So it's actually really cool because then you have a map that is also visually moving. I think if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to ask. We're over time anyway. Honestly, Christina, I never used Ethereum, so I can say don't. Okay. No, but I'm with Ariane's line. It's like anything. I think it's just a little bit in the beginning. When we first got Nemo, we basically did lines around the condominium and then did a GPS and then did the map based on the condominium so that we became comfortable with using the machine. And it was really cool to see the line, actually, the map going around the condominium. And then the Ariane's line, we just did it right after that. Like I said, the video patching with the map, that requires a little bit extra work, but it's not that difficult either. But the doing of the map, once you've done it once or twice, it becomes very, very intuitive. Good. So Christine said, I've struggled to find survey software. I'm happy to take a look. I would definitely. And Sebastian is also very good on being available. If you have issues, glitches, it's always an email away. So it's kind of like really, really good for that. Well, this concludes our session about how to protect the caves from the inside out. Oh. Thank you, Chantel. Chantel just posted a Vimeo with Nemo and Ariane's line. But if you actually plug in Ariane's line, his website will come up. So. Thank you. So as I was saying, thank you everyone for joining. Sorry for the first part that we had no pictures. On the second part, I repeated everything that I said during the first part. If you have any more questions, by all means, feel free to ask. I'll be back at the booth around 2 p.m., so in a couple of hours. I have someone who actually has questions about sharks, but please feel free to join. And if you have more questions about cave diving, Nemo, sharks, or anything like that, just join me at the booth this afternoon. Tonight at 7 p.m., I know it's really late for the UK time, I'm going to be on the main stage, and I'm going to present something that is called Shark World. It's a little bit of a prose about my love and work with sharks. And following that is going to be Q&A about Shark World or anything else that you want to ask. I know it's a little bit late for UK's. I think it's midnight. That is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so New York time, if you can make it. Thank you again.